Welcome to the Thriveology show. I'm Lydia Atlas. What if the very thing you've been relying on to wake up your brain is actually the thing making your brain fog worse? And what if the reason your coffee suddenly stopped working after the age of 40 has nothing to do with aging and everything to do with your hormones? Because here's what most women are never told. During perimenopause and menopause, your brain becomes dramatically more sensitive to cortisol spikes, and caffeine, especially first thing in the morning, can amplify the exact hormonal stress cascade already disrupting your focus, memory, emotional stability, stress, and mental clarity. So, if you've recently noticed feeling wired but exhausted, forgetting words mid sentence, anxiety after coffee, afternoon crashes, difficulty concentrating, and waking up tired no matter how much sleep you get, there's a very real neuroendocrine reason for it. And no, you are not losing your mind. Your brain is changing its relationship to stress chemistry. Today, I'm going to explain why this happens, the hidden connection between estrogen and cortisol, why coffee affects menopausal women differently, and the surprising brain supportive drink I recommend instead. For decades, women are told coffee gives you energy, but biologically, coffee does not actually give energy. It borrows energy from your stress response system. That boost you feel is largely cortisol and adrenaline. And when estrogen levels begin fluctuating during perimenopause and menopause, the nervous system often becomes more vulnerable to overstimulation, meaning the same coffee you tolerated at 28 can suddenly create anxiety, heart racing, brain fog, inflammation, mood swings, irritability, poor sleep, cognitive crashes at 2 p.m. And most women blame themselves, but the physiology tells a different story. One of the least discussed facts in women's health is that estrogen helps regulate cortisol sensitivity in the brain. When estrogen fluctuates, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, HPAA, also known as the HPA axis, can become more reactive. This means stress signals hit harder. And caffeine? Well, caffeine is interpreted by the body as a mild stressor. So instead of helping the menopausal brain focus, it can push the nervous system into hypervigilance, overstimulation, mental scatter, and cognitive fatigue. Ironically, many women drink more and more coffee to fix the brain fog, while the coffee itself keeps deepening the dysregulation. So I once spoke with a woman in her late 40s who told me, I feel like I lost my brain overnight. She said she couldn't remember names, lost her train of thought constantly, walked into rooms wondering why and forgetting why she was there in the first place, felt emotionally reactive, and needed 3 cups of coffee just to function. By 3 p.m., she crashed emotionally and mentally. But what shocked her most was this: the problem wasn't that her brain was failing. Her nervous system simply was overwhelmed. Once she shifted away from high cortisol stimulation in the morning, her clarity began returning within weeks. Not because she fixed herself, but because she stopped overactivating an already vulnerable stress system. Here's another fascinating fact most people don't know. Your brain uses enormous amounts of glucose, and cortisol fluctuations can destabilize glucose regulation, insulin signaling, and cognitive energy availability. This is one reason menopausal women often experience brain fog, energy crashes, cravings, emotional instability, and difficulty concentrating. Caffeine temporarily masks the fatigue while worsening the underlying instability, which is why so many women feel simultaneously exhausted and overstimulated, or as we like to call it, tired and wired feeling. So the question becomes, how do we support the menopausal brain without overstimulating the stress response system? The answer is not more stimulation. The answer is neural stabilization. This is where two compounds become incredibly interesting. And these two things are lion's mane and L-theanine. Not because they force energy, but because they support it with calmer cognition, steadier focus, and nervous system regulation. Lion's mane is a medicinal mushroom studied for its relationship to nerve growth factor, cognitive support, memory, and neuroplasticity. And women often describe it as mental clarity without stimulation. Unlike caffeine, it doesn't whip the adrenal system. It supports the brain differently, more like nourishment than force. Now, L-theanine is an amino acid naturally found in green tea. One fascinating thing about L-theanine is that it supports alpha brain wave activity, which is associated with calm focus, relaxed alertness, and meditative clarity. Meaning, instead of feeling jittery and scattered, women feel focused and emotionally calmer. This is especially important during menopause, when the nervous system often feels chronically overstimulated already. And here's something almost nobody talks about. Many menopausal women are not actually lacking energy. They are lacking nervous system recovery. There's a huge difference. You can stimulate in an exhausted nervous system temporarily, but eventually the body asks for regulation, not more cortisol. And this is important. Most women are emotionally attached to the ritual of coffee, the warmth, the pause, the identity, the comfort, the daily ritual. So instead of simply removing this ritual, I often recommend replacing it. Imagine beginning your morning with warm lion's mane, calming L-theanine, cinnamon, which is an adaptogenic support, adding some natural morning light and some deep breathing for system regulation. Instead of immediately shocking the nervous system with stress chemistry, this shift alone can profoundly change your cortisol rhythm, your emotional regulation, and your sleep quality, and cognitive steadiness over time. If you've been feeling foggy, exhausted, emotionally reactive, mentally scattered, or unlike yourself lately, please hear this clearly. Your brain is not broken. Your nervous system is adapting to hormonal transition in a world that constantly overstimulates it. And sometimes the most powerful thing we can do is stop forcing energy and begin supporting regulation instead. Because clarity does not come from stimulation. Clarity comes from calm. And your menopausal brain may not need another cup of coffee. It may simply need steadier cortisol rhythms, calmer neural signaling, deep nervous system support, and a gentler relationship with energy itself. Your body is not betraying you. It is asking for a new conversation. And if you're ready to understand how hormones, stress, chemistry, metabolism, nervous system overload, and aging patterns all connect together, I invite you to download my free guide, Puberty Rewind, in the description box. Inside, I break down hidden hormonal disruptors, nervous system restoration strategies, metabolic and cortisol support, and foundational ways to help women reclaim energy, clarity, emotional balance, and vitality naturally during perimenopause and menopause. Because women deserve to understand what is actually happening inside their bodies instead of simply being told this is just aging. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel. Share it with your fellow friends and family members and work coworkers. Spread the message. Remember, health is your greatest wealth. So we will be here next week, same time, same place. Blessings to you.